Hello friends, this is Reshmi. I'm here to meet Anna-Lena Wibom at her residence in Stockholm suburb. She is a retired film producer, distributor, winner of the BAFTA, Guldbaggen and many other prestigious awards. She has also worked with a legendary Indian filmmaker. Who is it? Wait and watch. So I'm super excited to meet her and hear her making of the success story.
After our garden, so we ate most of the things that came from the farm.
Okay. And you studied, your schooling was from the place you were living in the farm?
When I was 8, my parents divorced, and then I moved with my mother and my 2 brothers to a house here in Lidingö, which she built for money. She built a new house for us. And eventually she remarried.
Okay.
With a very boring chap. But he was very good to us, and I think she was happy with him, and he was very much in love with my mother. So I think they had a very happy marriage.
So while you were growing up, did you have any interest in films or anything related to art that led to your choice of this career of production later on?
I never thought of doing that. It was just people who asked me if I wanted to do that. And I said, why not? I had no idea how to do this.
So you never got any official training from someone?
No, never.
What was your first production?
Oh, gosh, it's so long ago, I can't remember.
Was it The Sacrifice or Kaiser or Elephant Walk? No, something.
One day, I was studying at the university, pretending to take a degree. But then one day, the director of the Swedish Film Institute called me and said, would you like to take over our non-existing children's department? And I was very successful with I was running a film studio for children and young people at the museum of
Modern Museum.
Yeah. So, and he had heard about that, and I was fully booked, and I had to do everything 2, 3, 4 times. It was very boring. I just enjoyed the first time. But then he asked me if I wanted to take over the children's department at the Swedish Film Institute. And I said, yes, why not? And so I did that for 2 years. And then the guy who was running the film show, the Swedish Film Institute shows 6 films a week. And then he asked me if I wanted to take over that job. And I said, why not? So I've never had any idea about what I should do. I've just been offered jobs that have been of interest to me.
Okay. Do you tell me something about the movie The Sacrifice? It won the Best Film in Foreign Language, BAFTA Award, Guldbaggen Award for Best Film, and the Jury Award, and many others, I assume.
Yes.
What is your experience of working with the legendary director Andrei Tarkovsky, and how was your experience producing it?
No. That one. It shows how inexperienced I was. If you start a major film production like The Sacrifice, you take the director, the script writer, and the 2 or 3 leading actors to a doctor, and they examine, and the doctor examines them, and that is my insurance in a way, that they are able to work for 1 or 2 years with this film.
Is this how it happens with every production company? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
No, but I didn't either. I didn't know that. And I sent the leading actors and the director and some other people for physical examination for a doctor. And then they all came back and said, we are all. So we started. But the director had he did
Okay.
he did this now and then, and I thought that was a tick. It wasn't more than I'm mimicking him, and then I went to. I liked his movies so much that I went to Moscow, and I was very lucky because I had a Russian interpreter, and she was a friend of Tarkovsky's, and she introduced me to him, and then he came to Sweden for the opening of one of his films, and then we started talking. That was very easy, and I asked him to write a script that I could handle, and then he first said that he wanted to make a costume film set in the 18th century, and I said that will be too expensive and too difficult for me. You will have to do something that is contemporary, out of your own life, and something that tells everybody about your own life and he had been not very successful in the Soviet Union. He was very much successful in Europe and in the United States and among film people. And then he wrote the sacrifice. And I said, yes, we're going to do that script. And we did. We did.
I was reading about the last scene of Sacrifice where the house is burned.
Yes.
Was it like something very difficult to achieve? Probably you had to build the house again, or there was some kind of challenges in doing that?
Yes. But the house was going to be burned anyway. Because we were filming in a park, a natural park. You were not supposed to change anything in that park. You could be there for a couple of months to shoot the film and then erase every trace that you had been there. And that was not a problem for us. And then a part of the film that we were burning the house was part of the game. And we could do it twice. We had we knew that this was a difficult moment in the film. And we had hired a British team that would see to that the house burned. And then we were not too happy about the outcome of that, so we decided to do it ourselves and sent the British team home.
Okay, all right.
And did it again. And we had two houses, one, so it was fairly easy for us because we had one house in the film house studio and one house outside in Gotland. So when the first house burned down, we took up the house in the film house and put it there. So it was a matter of 2 days.
Okay. Good to hear. But yeah, of course, I think that movie is awesome. Majestic. Every scene is like a story in itself.
Yes.
And yeah, Andrei Tarkovsky is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So amazing that you have worked with him. And I imagine you were distributing that movie as well?
Yeah. No.
Okay. You were just producing it.
I was producing it, and I was there was a Swedish company with lots of cinemas who distributed it. Okay.
Worldwide? It was shown?
No. We had a girl who sold it worldwide.
Okay.
And we gave it to the Soviets.
Okay. Amazing. So after Sacrifice, did you produce any other movie?
Yes, but I thought everything was boring after working with him, so I thought it was better for me to do something else.
So what was so special about Andrei Tarkovsky?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. It was so long ago. It was 30, 40 years ago. But I liked this film very much. And I liked this very simple way of telling his own story. Because all his films, when you know him, come from himself, from his inner self. And that's what I liked about his films. He was not trying to make a smashing story. It was full of murder and infidelity and whatnot. So he did very simple things.
So do you think that to be a successful director or a filmmaker, you have to be pure from your heart, or whatever you make has to come from within? A level of purity is needed.
There are so many kinds of films. I mean, there are dance films and music films, and there are films about scientists and whatnot. So I don't think you can say that one thing is...
Okay.
But I think that the thing that tells us something about ourselves, where we can
connect.
You can recognize yourself in the characters in the film. Then I think you are, and you can get that into any kind of film. So I think that's fine.
Okay, so moving on to the, you can say, the most exciting element for me to hear from you about your experience of working with another Indian legendary filmmaker, Satyajit Ray. Of course, he was also a masterpiece in his own. He used to create a masterpiece in his own way. And internationally recognized and winner of the Lifetime Achievement Academic Award and many more. So how and when did you meet him first?
I think I was running the film showings of the Swedish Film Institute. 6 different films every week. That was my job, and I think we made a series of his films. We got all his films. Some of them have been distributed in Sweden, and some we borrowed from England or otherwise, I don't remember. And then he came for meetings with the Swedish film critics and Swedish television made a program with him, and God, I don't know. And that's how I met him.
Okay.
And then
do you remember, like, how was he as a human being? What kind of personality he had?
No, he was an extremely nice person. I think most people in the cinema are very nice people. If you want to work in cinema, you have to be very sensible about how other people think and what they want to do. So, and I think he was one of them.
And when you visited India, I guess you visited India as well to distribute films, or to just join film promotions or premieres? So you met him also in India?
No, maybe. No, I don't think so.
Okay, only in Sweden.
No, I've met him also in England and in France and in festivals and...
Were you in touch with him after the distribution?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did he come and meet you here in this apartment?
Probably, I don't remember.
I'm just excited to realize that, he came to this house and I am also sitting in the same house. So that's why I'm asking.
Yes, I think he was here a couple of times. I had dinner with my husband and me. And,
I'm a big fan of him, so...
Yeah.
I think many other individuals are as well. So the very thought that if not sitting with him, I'm sitting with someone like you who has worked with him makes me super happy. And so moving on, like you are saying, you never chose a career as such, but it just happened. In your things fell
I
in
never,
your
I never asked for a job. Somebody just asked me to do things, and I said, maybe I can.
The first job I remember I was reading about your article, it was as the recreation assistant at Longholmen prison.
Yes.
So you started from a prison.
Yes. Yes.
So, and you used to show films to the prisoners?
No.
Okay.
No, I thought that was an ideal job. I started to work at 5 in the afternoon
Oh,
and worked till 7.
okay.
I didn't have dinner, so I got very thin and elegant. Because I never had dinner.
Okay.
So I worked, and that paid my rent and a little bit of food, and so that was okay.
Mm.
And I lived in Gamla Stan, so I used a bicycle to the Långholmen prison. It's no longer a prison; it's a hotel or something.
Okay.
I don't know, but it was an old prison. And I worked there with the prisoners. And, I always felt very privileged. Everything has been. I find school very easy, and I found university very easy. So I wasn't I didn't have to worry about anything.
So after a successful, I mean, in your definition, you say it's not success, but in my definition, I think that after your successful production career, you decided to move on and
do other things.
Other things.
Yeah.
What are those other things?
Oh, I worked for things that were not paid for.
Okay.
I can speak about 5 or 6 languages.
Like you then after that you started learning languages?
No, I learned that at university.
What are those?
So I went to the United States for 2 years and got a Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
And then I came back and I met my husband, and who was at that time employed at the National Museum. And then he got another job in Peru. And then he got all kinds of interesting jobs all over the world. He made a fantastic career. So, and I worked at the Swedish Film Institute. And sometimes I came to see him, and sometimes he came to see me. And we had a good time, and we had one daughter.
Is any of your children into this industry of
No.
film and production?
No.
Did you to ask them not to be in this thing, or it was their choice?
They choose some other
Different
directions.
Okay.
But for me, but of course it was I mean, it sounds as if my life had been very easy, but there were things I didn't understand at all. I couldn't understand. When I was 8 years old, I had never heard of anyone divorcing.
Mm.
So I thought that was very odd. And I asked my mother, "Don't you like my father anymore?" And my mother said, "Yes, I like him, but not so much that I want to be married to him."
Mm.
Oof. That was at least an explanation.
Do you think that left an impact in you forever?
Well, I realized that there are different ways of liking people.
Hmm. But getting separated from your dad, like, this is something which I feel as well. Maybe it's not true with everyone. Like, a child is made of two individuals. That's how they come to this world. And if, for whatever the reason be, if they are separated from one of the parent, it leaves an impact in them.
What I learned from this experience was that I need to make my own money, and I had to be able to live by myself. I was never. I'm very glad I have a new husband, but I can live by myself.
But did you meet him while you were growing up? Did you meet your dad while you were growing
yes,
up?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So what would you like to advise amateur people like myself or the future producers? Like, what is the main ingredient of a successful career in film and production?
I don't know. I have left that. I mean, somebody like you should go to film school. And there are different. I mean, you can be a cameraman, or you can be a sound man, or you can be a producer, you can be a director, or you can be something. Because when I was asked to become somebody at the Film Institute, there was no school, there was no training, there was no education in Sweden for film people. So nobody asked me for. I had all kinds of education, but none in film, none in.
When you produced Sacrifice, for example, where did you get the funds from?
Oh, I've forgotten that. No, I had a starting capital, and on my other job, I had learned to know lots of film people in Europe, and they bought the film beforehand. So I sold the film to France and to Italy and to Japan and America and so on beforehand. And then, of course, I had money from the Film Institute.
Okay.
So I just asked my friends to help me, and they said, yes, why not?
You're lucky to have such friends who are helping you with money.
They are now in the film world. Everyone is looking for an interesting project, and Tarkovsky had written a script, which I had translated into French and English, and I sent it to my friends, and they said, I'm going to do this.
Mm.
Will you please help me? And they said, oh, and they knew I had the Film Institute in the back, who would cover up whatever I did. So that was not the big deal.
Okay.
I just had all the money I needed.
Mm-hmm. And you got returns as well, like profit?
No, I had no profit.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't make any money. I was an employee of the Swedish Film Institute, so I had my salary. And,
Okay. So nowadays, how do you keep yourself busy? You will be turning 90 in July, and you mentioned you go to the gym, and you keep yourself busy
Oh,
the whole day. How do you keep yourself busy?
I have lots of things to do. I go twice a week for
What in gym parlor?
for jumping, and I go to different lectures at the university. And I go to and you know, all my friends are also retired. So I have lots of friends that I can visit. And I try to clean up in the house, and I do. So I see lots of people, and I have to go now.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your time. What do you have to say about my idea of this show, the Making of Success story?
I have no relation to success. I don't know what that is. Or I know what that is. I have lived with very successful men all the time who regard me as a success. and I have the best relations with my first husband's son, that he had before me, and I don't know about this. I think life is work. Life is work. Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've worked a lot. I've always been working. And I get up at 7 o'clock every morning, also now, like I learned to do when I was a schoolgirl. Because school started at 8, so I had breakfast and run off to school.